Okay, so thank you so much, Carly, for being our guest of honor today. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, of course.
Excellent. I see you're already in your gear, so that you must be on a job site now. Is that right?
No, I have just literally finished work just now, so that's why I'm still in my work clothes.
Oh,
I'm in
wow.
the van.
And what time is it there?
It's 5 past 6.
Oh, not bad. Not so bad.
No, not
So,
too bad.
what was your inspiration and why did you get into the field of plumbing?
Um, I've been I've been doing plumbing since I was about 15 with my dad.
Wow.
So my dad is he's been doing it for a long time. He's always done it. That's all I've ever known my dad to do is be a plumber and a gas fitter. And I just used to do jobs with him when I was younger at the weekends, and he taught me how to solder and pipe bend. And so,
Cool.
like at the age of 15, I could solder and bend pipes and do stuff like that. So yeah, it's my dad really that's got me into it.
Wow. What an incredible skill to have.
I know. I'm so pleased that I actually went into this. I love my job, so I am pleased that he got me into it.
Awesome. So what was your steps of your process? Did you start a business right away? Did you work for somebody else for a while? How did you take the transition from turning this into a career?
So when I left school, I knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a plumber and a gas engineer, and that was all I wanted to do. And at the time, my dad was contracting for a big company in Manchester in England, like a
Hmm.
big city, and they were looking for apprentices at the time. This company were, and of course, with me being female, I ticked a huge box for them.
Right.
They wanted me really because I was a female. So I was 16, just turning 17, and I'd been out of school not even a month. And they took me on basically.
Oh, wow.
And so I worked with my dad and I worked with other guys as well. There was no other women around, at that time. We're
Yeah.
talking like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got me on. I started going to college, and basically I worked for them for about 4 years. Got a lot of experience under my belt, doing all kinds of different plumbing and heating and boilers and all that kind of stuff. And then we wanted to get a little bit more local because we were travelling for work. So me and my dad started contracting for another company closer to home, and that's when I went self-employed then.
Oh, cool.
So I was classed as like a contractor kind of thing.
Oh, great. Awesome.
And we did a lot of central heating work for that company.
That's
And
amazing.
I worked for them for a long time, probably about another 4 years. Shall I carry on? It's quite a long story.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Like we'll go in and out of discussions, and we can cut stuff out, and we'll make it we'll shorten it up if we have to. But yeah, I'm just generally interested in hearing your story too. It's whatever you want to share with us. It's up to you. No pressure.
Yeah, after about 4 or 5 years working for this other company, I found out I was pregnant,
Aw,
and that was a big thing because I knew that I was going to struggle in the job that I'm doing and being pregnant at the
of
same time.
course. Yeah, so
And
physical.
yeah, I wasn't that well prepared really for it.
Right.
I carried on working. I carried on fitting central heating systems up until I was about 20 weeks pregnant, which was hard work. And then I went for a job interview for a different role. It was lighter work, and it was basically doing servicing boilers, and like designing systems for other engineers to come in and actually do the work. So it was lighter work.
Right.
And they knew that I was pregnant as well, and they were brilliant. They really looked after me, and they took me on. and I worked up until I was about 36 weeks pregnant doing that. So I was
Wow.
servicing boilers with a bump. Uh,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Not only are you a plumber, but a female plumber, but also pregnant at the same time. That's amazing. That's
it
really
was
cool.
um, quite an experience. It was hard work. It really was, because I was traveling around a lot at that time as well.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and I was like, I got to 36 weeks and I was like, no, I'm so tired. I can't do this anymore.
For sure.
Uh, so yeah, so then I had my baby. I had quite a traumatic time actually when my son was born, but that's fine now. 8 weeks after he was born, I went straight back to work full time
Oh my gosh.
because I was self-employed and I
Yeah.
was only contracting. I was so skinned, like I had
Yeah.
no help whatsoever, and I just had to get back out working.
Yeah.
So he was 8 weeks old. My mum retired so that I could go back to work, and
Aw.
she had my baby for me.
It's amazing.
So yeah, she helped me out, and I just got straight back into work. And then I started working for my dad because he built up his own company.
Oh, great.
In the time of me being pregnant and having the baby and everything else, he built up all his own work, and he was really busy. So
That's
I
awesome.
went straight back to work for him into installs and everything, and that was like 4 years ago now.
Wow. Well, good for you. That takes a lot of so much work, and it definitely takes a lot of strength, and uh I can't think of the word now, but I always say I'm getting early onset dementia because of this job and how stressful it is. But
Yeah, I think we all feel like that sometimes. There's so many things going on in our heads.
I
Like,
know. It's like how do we remember all of this stuff? I still don't understand. It's
I don't know.
crazy. So what are some of the other obstacles that you've faced as a woman in the trades industry?
Um, well, sexism being a big one.
Yeah,
As I'm sure you've come across it yourself as well.
definitely.
Um,
Any particular stories?
I've got a couple.
Yeah?
Uh, well, one of the worst ones actually was when I was pregnant. Um, I went in to check a boiler and I had to condemn it. It was not safe. So in England we have like classifications for an unsafe situation,
Mm-hmm.
and the situation that I found was immediately dangerous. So I had to act on it. I had to cap the boiler off. I needed to make it safe.
Wow.
And these people did not want me to do it whatsoever. They were not happy, and so I told them the options. Either you let me cap it off, or I will have to call the gas board, and they will cap it off outside at your meter.
Wow.
And they basically like threw me out of the house. I got a lot of abuse. You were supposed to be coming here to help me, and now you're telling us that we can't have the boiler on. And I was like, well, you've got children in the house, and the boiler is working unsafe, and I obviously have a duty of care to look after you and your family,
Definitely.
and I have to do the thing. But they were quite abusive, actually. So anyway, I got myself out of there,
Yep.
and I called the gas boards. That's happened on quite a lot of occasions, actually.
Do you think that if you were a man, it would be handled differently?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Because, they were just like, how do you even know what you're doing? You're too young to know what you're doing. And, I was like, well, actually, I've been in this industry for like 10 years now, and I actually do know what I'm doing. And at the time, it was 10 years. But yeah, also like when I've been out shopping for tools and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm on my own, and I'm in my regular clothes, and I've got like a handbag with me or whatever. Some guy said to me, I was looking at some screwdrivers, and some guy said to me, "Don't hurt yourself. Just be careful. Do you know what you're looking for?" and I couldn't help myself. I just got my gas safe card out of my purse, and I showed it to them, and I said, "Are you sure you don't need some help, love? Actually, I do know what I'm looking for, and if you need some help, just let me know."
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good moment. I loved it, to be honest.
It feels so good when you put people in their place sometimes when they're putting you down.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, we didn't know, and I was like, "Well, why would you even say that in the first place?" Like, they were just so they made out look like they were trying to help me, but they weren't. They were just being idiots, basically.
Yeah, for sure. We get it all the time too. So, do you find like you will get, what's your clientele like? Do you find like you get hired mostly by men or women? Anyone in particular, or?
I don't actually advertise myself as a female plumber.
Right.
Because I'm a plumber and that's the end of it. Like, I want to just be seen the same as any other plumber.
Yeah.
So most of our customers are returning customers. Like, they use us a lot.
Right.
And they know me. Like, most of the people around this area, because most of our work's local, everybody pretty much knows me. So they hire us on the basis that they know I know what I'm doing. It's not so much because I'm a female.
Right.
It's because I've built up a good reputation, and I do a good job, really. So if I go out of town, it's a different story. If it's if people like see me at a plumber's merchants out of town,
yeah,
and they don't know me, then I get a lot of looks and I've got a lot of questions and stuff like that. But
oh yeah.
Everybody kind of knows me around here now because I'm the only female plumber as well. So I suppose people do hire me because I am a female as well, really. But
without you advertising it that way.
Yeah, I don't really advertise it that way now.
Yeah, it's funny because it's interesting to see people's approaches and how different companies put themselves out there. And in Toronto, it's such a competitive world. And having a unique platform really helps people get their names out there. I mean, there's, 1,001 people named O&B Construction or, X and Y Renovators. So it's nice to have something that stands out. And it's interesting in maybe like in an area where you live, how things are advertised or how things can change, and it doesn't really matter, like whether you're female or male or trans or whatever you are. It's funny how different cities have different things, right? Like, or require different things or are advertised in different ways. Toronto it's so insane here. Like, there's thousands of different contractors, and it's really difficult for people to kind of select somebody because of all of the controversy surrounding different aspects of names and renovations. And there's so many like liars and fakes and people who just want to make a quick buck. They'll do something completely incorrectly just so they can get in and out of the job and make however many hundreds or thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah, we see that. I mean, in all trades, I think everybody sees that, don't they? People that just go in and do a bodge job, and then the professionals like us have to come in and sort it out.
It's totally true. Whether they're a male or a woman, you always see some really crappy jobs, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure in your industry too. Plumbing, I find, is like some of the connections people do. I have to wonder if they were sober at the time that they did it, or sane.
Well, my field is mostly, although I am a plumber, it's mostly boilers and things for me.
Right.
And it's quite scary, some of the things you come across that are unsafe.
Yeah.
Gas escapes and flues being installed incorrectly.
Yep.
Like, that's scary. Some of the things you see are really scary.
I know. Yeah. So tell us, okay, so we have a couple of questions that we're dying to know the answers to. So you were dubbed the UK's sexiest plumber. Tell us about it. Oh, she's covering her face.
story. I've been working on a large hotel this year with my dad.
Okay.
I've been doing the bathrooms, the heating and things like that, and it's new owners, and their daughter is a journalist. So she saw me at work with no makeup on, dirty, stinking, hair all over the place. And then they had an open night when we finished the hotel. Like, they've got a bar, like a really nice bar. And they had an open night, and I went in my normal clothes, which I always wear heels when I'm not at work. And I had my hair done, I had my makeup done, and she was like, "Oh my God, are you the same person?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's me. Hi, it's Carly." And she was like, "I cannot believe the transformation, like, from work to now."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "I would love to do a story, like, about the life of a female plumber."
Oh, cool.
And, like, how, like, it's a transition from, like, being at work to, like, being at home and everything else, and because you're quite girly. And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." So we did it, and I didn't think it was going to go as big as what it did. And I didn't know right up until just before we did the interview that it was actually going to be headlined as the UK sexiest plumber, because that's not what I did not want that angle at all. Like,
oh man,
I'm a professional, and I don't care what anybody looks like. It's not about that at all. Like, I just want to be respected for being good at my job, and that's it.
Right, not for the way you look or the way you carry yourself. Yeah.
So I kind of, in the end, I felt like I was, like, pushed into it a little bit. Like, I didn't know it was going to go massive into all the newspapers.
Oh my God.
It's funny how it came out, because it was a bank holiday Monday in England at the time, and I was in a loft fixing a boiler, and the next thing I know, my phone was just going mad, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I checked my phone, and everyone was like, "Carly, you're in the newspapers, you're all over Facebook, you're all over like all these trade pages," and like, it just went huge. And to be honest, I did have a bit of a backlash from it. People were ripping the shit out of me.
Oh yeah. Like, like what? Tell us, what was happening?
Because some of the pictures that the newspaper took of me was of me in my work clothes, but I had, like, my hair down, and, like, I had makeup on and that. And people were saying, "Oh, that's health and safety. Like, why would you go to work looking like that? You're going to get your hair stuck in a drill." And I was like, obviously, I'm not at work on these pictures. That's not what I look like when I go to work. Like, so what if it is anyway? Who cares? Like, what I look like when I go to work. It's not your business as long as I can do my job.
Yep.
But yeah, I got ripped to shit on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I honestly hear you. Like, when I was first going through and getting the business started, I had this, believe it or not, group of women on Facebook, a group of mothers in the upper beaches. Like, here we're kind of like, we have separations in Toronto. Like, we have Toronto, Scarborough, and then there's things like upper beaches where it's like closer to the lake and stuff like that. And anyways, this group of, like, moms attacked me, saying that I'm false advertising because I have there's men running the company and it's actually all men. But it's not true. There's 12 women. I'm the only owner. And they were ripping me to shit, as you said. Like,
women are worse, honestly.
Oh, they are worse. They are worse.
Men.
I don't understand. We're supposed to, like, empower each other and help build us up and, create these pathways for younger children and show them the way to not disrespect people, even if it was a man or a woman or whatever. It's like somebody is trying to create a living for themselves and for their family. How could you possibly discredit that?
I know.
Like, you too, you're out there doing your thing. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I just think that's what I'm really loving about social media at the moment, because you kind of, when you feel like you're on your own. Like, I felt like I've been on my own for years, in these struggles and everything else, and then you see all these other women on social media, and you're like, yes, there's more of us. Like, it's
Yeah.
so good.
Unite.
Yeah, like we all support each other, and I just love it. And a lot of the men as well, they're really supportive as well. Like,
Yeah.
maybe not 10 years ago, like it was a bit more unheard of, but
Yeah.
you know,
Exactly. And some guys are just like, "Oh, this is amazing." I'll have some guys even email me or call me and they're just like, "This is awesome. Like good for you. Like this is so cool to see." But I think the other people they're just haters and they don't want to see anybody, prosper, let alone a female or male, right? So
yeah.
just before we go, you got to tell us about your slogan, glam and grit. What's that all about? We love it.
So basically, I don't mind getting my hands dirty. Obviously, you've got to get your hands dirty in this trade,
Yeah.
and I love to get stuck in. I really do. But I'm also, I am quite glam as well. Like
Yeah.
when I'm not working, like I like to wear nice clothes. I like to have my hair done. I like to put some heels on. Like,
Oh yeah, get it, girl. Who cares?
yeah, who says like you can't do one or the other, or you can't be both? Like,
No, it's true.
so that's basically what it is. It's like glam and grit at the same time.
That's
So
awesome. I love that. And a lot of our staff is like that too. They'll come here, they'll work all day and a couple times I've gone out with them like either I'll take them for a beer or whatever just to, quick little thank you. And then I see them and I'm like, "Oh my god, like you look so different." Is that you? Yeah, I stay pretty much the same. I'm like a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl, and I'm the same way at work too. But yeah, it's so cool, and I'm so happy to have talked to you and hear some of your story.
oh, I feel like really humbled that you actually want to speak to me. Like, I love this. I just love all these women coming together and supporting each other. It's so good.
Me
It's
too.
really, it's our time at the moment. It
It
seems to be
is.
happening more and more.
I know. It's time for us to join forces and empower each other instead of putting each other down, right? Like I'm all about women empowerment. I try to employ as many people as I can to keep the name and the face of our name and stuff, and we don't discriminate at all, and we have lots of people who have different identities and or who identify differently, and we love that. We love the fact that we can open the doors to anyone to feel comfortable, whether they're trans or she pronouns, male pronouns, like we're open to everyone, and we want that known. And I think the name Fix It Females really opens those doors to the people who don't feel comfortable in the rest of the world.
I'd
So,
love to work for you guys.
oh my gosh, in a heartbeat, we would have so much work for you, it wouldn't even be funny. I wish if you ever want to change and come over to Toronto, you'll be our in-house plumber for sure.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, I must admit, that is one of my goals. I've always since I was an apprentice, I've always wanted to have a big firm with like not even just women, obviously men as well, but like I don't know, it's women just don't even see it as something they can do.
I know.
And I don't know why. It's like when I was at school, nobody ever said about being a plumber. It was always like, oh, are you going to be, a hairdresser or, an office worker or something like that.
Yeah. It's
And
true.
it's just like,
Women don't even think that there's opportunity out there. And I think that's why, like, originally, I have so many interviews about Me Too previously and why I got into this and why I chose the name I chose. And the name I chose was so that I could open those doors for people to understand and realize, hey, this is possible. Like, opening a company and having 16 employees as a female is possible. Whether it's in construction, I don't know, whether it's construction, it could be, you're a lawyer, anything,
yeah,
and it's like we're trying to pave the way for young females and anyone alike, right? It's a
like,
shame nobody thinks they can do it.
having 16 people, that's good going. That's a lot of work and a lot of commitment, and it's brilliant. women can do whatever they want to do, and
Yeah.
even if it's not plumbing, it's just you've just got to go for it, and who cares what anybody else says? That's what I think anyway.
Exactly. Me too. Me too. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you, and we know how busy construction is. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend it with us. And congratulations on your son.
Oh, thank you. No problem. Thank you for having me and taking time out of your busy schedule as well.
Our pleasure. Well, we're gonna feature you on social media, and hopefully you'll share the story and do the same. And we'll combine forces one day, and hopefully we can have you here in Toronto and do a job for us.
That would be awesome. I've always wanted to go. So I can share this on my Instagram then, can I?
Oh, go for it. Share it wherever you want. Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want. It's free for you to do whatever you'd like with it.
Okay, cool.
We'll continue
Brilliant.
to follow you and support you, and we look forward to seeing what you'll do in the future.
Same here. I'll keep following and supporting you as well.
Awesome. Okay, hon, you have a great night. See you
And
later.
you.
Bye.